And it should have a little dialogue that says we're going to record it. So everybody will have to click through that dialogue. All right. And I'll give it over to Gaynell to open the meeting.
This is Gaynell. Welcome, everyone. I hereby call the annual meeting of Immanuel Lutheran Church of Missoula, Montana to order this day, January 31st, 2021. The annual report says that we have a voting membership of 185. Our Constitution says that quorum for the annual meeting is 10% of the voting membership, making the quorum 19. May I have a report of how many people are attending the meeting, please?
Currently, we have 47 participants.
47. We have a quorum. Thank you. We will begin with an opening prayer with Pastor Molly.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for doing this. This is another new thing we've done this year. Thank you all for your patience and getting this all figured out. This is amazing. 47 of us on here. So this is the litany provided that all people doing their annual meetings these days will be doing. I'll read the light print and you can respond with the dark. Go ahead and keep yourself on mute or it will be really crazy. So, and I'll read both lines. So let us pray. O God of all love and power, we give you thanks for your unfailing presence. O God of all power and love, we give thanks for the hope you provide in times of uncertainty and loss. O God of all love and power, we ask you to send your Holy Spirit to enkindle in us your holy fire. O God of all power and love, we ask you to revive us to live as Christ's body in the world. O God of all power and love, we ask to be a people who pray, worship, learn, break bread, share life, heal neighbors, bear good news, seek justice, rest, and grow in the Spirit. O God of all power and love, we ask you to be with us. Wherever and however we gather, unite us in common prayer and send us in common mission that we and the whole creation might be restored and renewed through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Gaynell speaking again. You have had the minutes of the 2019 meeting in the annual report on pages 4 and 5. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? Hearing none, I'd like to ask for a motion to accept the minutes of the annual meeting.
I move we accept the minutes of the annual meeting.
Nancy Marks made the motion. Is there a second, please?
I'll second. Sonia Walski.
Sonia Walski seconded. All in favor is are we going to say aye? I can't remember.
We're going to do a poll.
We're going to do a poll. Okay.
But either Molly or Mom, you guys will have to launch the poll because I can't launch it anymore. I think we can probably close the results of it.
The motion was passed by 97%. Thank you. We'll continue now into our year-end review and celebration, and we'll start out with the video that Nancy Marks prepared for us. And we saw it during worship. It'll be fun to see it again.
Oh, the Lord came down from heaven, tiny baby, great physician, gave his body and his blood to live out a holy mission. His disciples, they went out to fulfill the great commission. With a seed of faith so small, learned a different kind of vision. Will we go? And we'll all share the vision, who in Christ we all shall be. Come rejoice in the mission of a new community. In this place where we gather, Jesus still our restless souls. To your spirit we will listen. We will go. As we ponder and we plan in this age of great transition, we will keep the word of God at the heart of each decision. Praise the Father, Lord of love. Praise the Christ in glory risen. Praise the Spirit by whose power we will share the gifts we're given. As we go, and we'll all share the vision, who in Christ we all shall be. Come rejoice in the mission of a new community. In this place where we gather, Jesus still our restless souls. To your spirit we will listen. We will go, and we'll all share the vision, who in Christ we all shall be. Come rejoice in the mission of a new community. In this place where we gather, Jesus still our restless souls. To your spirit we will listen. We will go.
Thank you. That was really wonderful, Nancy. I'm sure everyone enjoyed it. We move on then to our narrative budget presentation. The narrative spending plan tells the story of Immanuel's mission and service. Our property, administration, volunteers, programs, and personnel all support these 4 pillars of ministry. This enables us to talk about how our financial gifts have supported the goals we have for our mission and service, rather than just talking about columns and numbers. We will now hear reports of what we celebrate about the service and mission in each of the 4 pillars. First, we'll have creating community care and connection, and the presenter is Marilyn Hall.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be able to be with you today. As you can see from your annual report, there are many and varied ways in which we have reached out to each other and helped each other. I first of all would like to thank Lynn Reinhardt, who is our secretary, because she is the first person that most of us talk to when we call the church. And she is a wonderful ambassador for us, spreading lots of love and concern for each of us in our calls. She also helps us get connected to the right person. I want to thank all the volunteers that worked in these many projects that you see in your annual report. And I would like to call attention and ask for help. On the prayer shawls, I would like somebody to reach out to me who has been involved in this ministry in the past. This is a ministry we would like to begin to revitalize. Again, I would like to thank all the many volunteers who helped with the new member dinner, the COVID call tree calling, and the lots of fun things that we've done, the turkey trot, the chalk it up, and all those people who have worked with the food donations and family promise. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Next will be Loving God Through Worship and Music, and that's Isaac Marks.
You can find this list of items of the time and talents that we had. It's on page 26 of the annual report. And with the worship and music, it was business as usual at the beginning of the year, and then we had the COVID come up, and as the numbers went up, we went to an all online worship, and it was a little tougher, but it also gave us opportunities to work together with the Five Valleys ELCA congregations and to organize those joint worship services. It also allowed us to look at it and talk about how we could improve our online worship. So we looked into improving the tech and the streaming and the sound, and then also the projection computer near the end of the year. Big thank you to all the people that were participated in all in the worship services. A lot of effort goes into these, and from Pastor Molly preaching and the other ELCA pastors also contributing, doing the services on Wednesday night, all the musicians, including hosting the three virtual hymn sings. That was a nice uplifter. You could kind of call out your favorite songs and get to see them. And I also wanted to thank Lynn again. So she helps to organize that projection software, and then all of the people who run the projection software. It's a group effort to get to where we get to on every Sunday and put it out, and even sometimes Wednesdays. And then also thank you to everybody who makes this worship service go. You know, there's ushering, there's preparing and serving communion, there's the communion bread, there's the readers, and all the people working behind the scenes too, doing the bulletins and pew car holders and personalized candles. So thanks for that. And we are going to have some in-person attendance starting in February. So we're going to keep it limited, but it's kind of that step out and see how we do. The numbers have shown they're coming down. So hopefully they continue to stay down and we can continue to allow those people who are interested in coming back to the service to have that opportunity. The other thing we've done is we did a prayer vigil, and that was well received, people coming back to the sanctuary and getting into the sanctuary. And we're going to look into more ways to incorporate items like that so that we can continue to meet people's needs. And that's for Lent and Easter. And the other big one we had was the outdoor worship service. You know, it was a little cold during Christmas, but everybody was able to get in their car. I thought the honking of the horns was quite fun, and my kids enjoyed that too. If anyone has any questions. All right.
Thank you, Ike. Next will be Forming Faith-Filled Followers with Sonia Wolski.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to be speaking about our Forming Faith-Filled Followers today, or as I like to call it, the F to the fourth power. All those four F words. As many of you know, we've had a challenging year with COVID, and before everything got shut down, it was kind of business as it's been. But as I was compiling my list of items for my annual report, I was very impressed with how much we have continued to do. We've adjusted how we've done it, and I think that it's pretty amazing that we are able to do this throughout not meeting in person, and really. And so I just want to give a big shout out to all those people that have helped do this and have been kind of ahead of the learning curve on especially during for churches to do this. But some of the things that we've done, we had our family faith gatherings. This was before COVID. We met through March, and it's just a great opportunity to families to come together, to learn and to grow their faith, and then also to have some fellowship as well. We had our confirmation classes that started in the beginning of the year, and then we had to shut down a little bit, and we didn't meet in the spring and summer. But Pastor Molly and I decided that it was important for us and for our confirmation kids to resume that this fall, and so she and I kind of rewrote the curriculum, and it's all online now basically, and so it's has adjusted. So the confirmation students have classes once a month with her, and she actually really likes it. She feels like she has their full attention and is has them right there on the screen. So it's really worked out well. We continue to meet with our pilgrims, and we let each pilgrim and their student decide what is most comfortable for them, whether they meet in person with their masks or if they do it via Zoom or a phone call. But that relationship and that learning is still continuing as well. And then we also added a couple new pieces to our confirmation program this year. We put in a faith at home portion that families can do at home as a family if they choose to, and then also a parent focus group that we meet once a month via Zoom. And this is open to any parents in our congregation, or we'd probably even let somebody outside of our congregation into if they really wanted to. But we meet on Zoom, and we usually have a little like an article that we read and discuss, and it's just a really good time to check in with each other, how everybody's coping during the pandemic, and it's been a nice addition. Two other things that we added due to the pandemic was our kids' time. The videos that I put together, they followed the lectionary Bible stories and Bible readings. I usually had a little, either a song or a craft, and then always ended with a prayer. These were put in to the service or following the service during the live stream portion, and then they're also available online as well. And then we also added our grow time, which that stands for growing relationships on Wednesdays. And that's available for our elementary aged kids. And we do this in conjunction with St. Paul Lutheran. So it's been really nice to work with Rebecca Cochran on this. She and I put together our lessons for the week. We mail out little packets to each of the students, and they feel like they are special, and they get a packet each and every week. And then we discuss it on Wednesday nights over Zoom, and then they share their projects that they did. And then we break into small groups, like an upper elementary and a lower elementary. And it's just been a really great addition for that. Our preschool is going strong. I'm not going to talk a lot about that. But I continue to do our chapel time once a month with our classes that we do. But Julie Sager will talk more about our preschool later in the meeting. We also had a Christmas program, and this was completely different than what we've ever done before. It was all each family came in that participated, and I recorded them doing their little portion, and then edited it and put it together into a format that was viewed on Wednesday night service during Advent. And it was fun. It was fun for a lot of the kids and the families to be in the church. A lot of them said, "This is the first time I've been in the church in a long time," and they really enjoyed it. And it was fun to be able to do in a safe manner. We have lots of adult Bible studies that continued. They met either outside, or they're meeting now in a safe way with their masks. We have our men's Bible study, our Naomi Circle. We've had lots of book studies and our home devotions that were sent out. So we've had lots of adult studies that have continued and are forming those faith-filled followers. We've had a few service projects, not as many as what we normally would do during a year, but we were able to do a couple one big one before the pandemic hit was our peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for the Pavarello Center. We were able to have a small group that went to the food bank for their Thanksgiving basket distribution. And then we also had one where people did on their own at home, where they wrote cards to homebound members. So there has been a lot of that, which I think is an important part of our faith, is to our community service and reaching out to others as well. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have our Vacation Bible School program this summer because it wasn't safe. And so we also weren't able to send our campers to FLBC this year. And hopefully, we are hoping that those will be able to revive and take advantage of in the future when it's safe to do so. But again, I'd just like to say thank you to all of those people that have helped out in any capacity, our teachers and our leaders, and even the participants, because it takes people to attend those classes in order to have them and to grow our faith. And so thank you to all those people that have contributed in any manner. And I guess if there's any questions, I'll answer those now, or try to answer them.
Thank you, Sonia. We will continue now with Transforming Lives Through Mission and Service, and that will be by Nancy Marks.
Thank you. Yeah, it has been an exciting year, I think, for service and mission. I am constantly amazed at the number of people who are willing to share their their talents as well as their time and their money to really go outside of who we are here at Immanuel. And I think of who we are is a lot in our community and in the world. We have our usual, we did our Washington Middle School. And I think that was an exciting ministry to be able to do via Zoom for those kids. And they were able to still participate in that this spring or this fall. And so that continued all the way through the year. So that was a nice connection that we had. As Pastor Molly said in her sermon, Family Promise was alive and well. Immanuel, I'm always so proud of the number of people who step up to do meals. And we had to do things a little differently during COVID. Instead of preparing those meals at our church, we prepare the meals and drop them off at the day center. And people, I guess the other piece, not only doing the work here at Immanuel when we hosted families at Immanuel for the overnights, but we have many of our members, we have what's called network, Family Promise Network, times when we need to call out from other people within the whole community to get together and volunteer to do meals and to do overnights. And we have a number of members at Immanuel who do that, who go to other churches and stay and do the work that is there or provide meals for the day center. So thank you very much to all of you who do that. And also who provide guest cards. And, you know, sometimes we can't do our time, but we certainly can do our money. And I appreciate that so much too. We also were able to do our Lutheran World Relief baby care kits, not as many as we've been able to do in the past, but we were able to spread out in the fellowship hall and pack our boxes and still be able to send, I think, about 30 boxes to Lutheran World Relief. And of course, our giving tree is always a highlight. We were able to provide presents and food and gift cards and quilts. The quilters do an awesome job and provide that for quite a few families this year. Not as many as in the past, but I think the thing that was kind of striking to me is that we were able to reach out to some of our Family Promise families who now have housing, and they needed this year has been really hard for them because they didn't, they just, some of them weren't able to work, and they weren't sure how they were going to provide Christmas for their families. And more than one of them were just so ecstatic that they were able to have all of these things. So thank you so much. I think beyond just our community, we also reached out to Tanzania to do our Apples for Tanzania project. And of course, Ron and I always thank all of you who come and help with picking apples, but we were able to purchase a stove for the parish working program, and also, I think, 6 or 7 guitars for their guitar class. This also went beyond just Immanuel. I think we started something because there were several other communities, including Julie Long's community, provided a couple of guitars, and so they ended up with quite a few guitars for their guitar class. So we started something not only in Missoula, but it went out. Not only do we do these ones, but of course participating in Habitat, connecting with the Poverello, the food bank. And I think the one thing that I am most proud of, as you know, that I'm very well connected with what's going on with Family Promise, but I want everybody to say such a big thank you that within a year, we were able to exceed our goal of $8 million to raise for the Meadowlark Family Housing Center. And not only, we started that process a year ago, and I was amazed that we met that goal. And it's, even with COVID, we are slated to open in May, and Family Promise will look very different this coming year, but we still need support and help. But thank you so much. I think it's pretty amazing the things that Immanuel does to reach out to our community and out into the world. Any questions?
Thank you, Nancy. I thank all of the people in our church that have taken part in all these things that we've just heard about. And next, we will review the benevolence, and that will be Ray Smith.
Good afternoon. This is Ray Smith. I'm the chair of the Stewardship Committee, and we're going to talk about benevolences today. I want to thank everyone for their generosity this year of their time, their talent, and their treasure. We have done so much this year. Given that we couldn't meet on a regular basis, we did great things. The first column that you see on your page is the endowment column. If you go to page 17 in your annual report, there is a report from the endowment committee on how endowment works. I encourage you to take a look at that when you have an opportunity. This year, endowment distributed over $16,000 to a variety of projects. We gave money to Emmaus Campus Ministry, the Kogadas Renewal Ministry. Money went to the Giving Tree. We sent money to Habitat for Humanity. We sent money to the COVID-19 fund of the Montana Synod. We sent money to Family Promise through gift cards and the See Them Home campaign, as just a few of the many things that we did there. Endowment has continued to help us stretch even further all our gifts that we've had. The bazaar and smorgasbord profits, the last little bits of them, we used for buses for the Washington Middle School flagship program to go to the food bank. We used money to develop the welcome project, welcome baskets for Family Promise. And we used about a little over $1,000 from the bazaar and smorgasbord projects for that. Out of our regular yearly budget, we spent $20,000. 18,000 plus of that went to the Montana Synod. 1,700 of that went to MIC. Then that was right out of our budget. Then our members gave to us to give out from beyond our own budget, over $4,000, almost $5,000, to World Hunger, to Family Promise, to Apples for Tanzania, for Giving Tree, for the preschool, and many other things. And we thank you for that. Then our members who are Thrivent members also contacted Thrivent and got action grants from Thrivent to spread our work even further. We used Thrivent action grants for flagship, for Emmaus, for a number of things, for the Giving Tree again, for both food and quilts, to the stay-at-home fundraiser from Missoula Interfaith Collaborative, Martin Luther King Day, Tanzania Day, and so another $2,750 that comes from Thrivent because of our members asking for them to donate money. Worked out really well. We did have two other grants, one from Lutheran Disaster Relief that went to Missoula Interfaith Collaborative, and one from Town Pump. The $500 went to the Giving Tree. So beyond some of the things that we've been doing with our money, we've been able to get money from other areas, other organizations, and spread spread our work even further. If you'll go to Ike, if you'll go to the next page, thank you. The Immanuel in-kind giving was incredible also. And even though we were not able to meet, food was the thing as far as the in-kind giving. 223 pounds of food to the food bank, food for family promise meals, food for the cooking and crafting with Washington Middle School, food and gifts to new members, food for family gatherings, food for fellowship hour, food for funerals, food for Lenten suppers, giving tree food. It just goes on and on and on. Besides food, there were other things, and you can read through that list and see all of them. But we did meal trains to our members who needed help, either because they were sick or they had a baby or whatever else. So food went there. Food to the Pastoral Center. Food. We also had in-kind giving for Washington Middle School projects. As it was just incredible. Our members see a need and just fill it. It's wonderful. I want to thank everyone again for their generosity this past year, and I hope that the generosity continues for this year and for many years to come. Any questions? Hearing none, I will turn it back over to Ike.
And this is Gaynelle, and thank you very much, Ray. It's pretty overwhelming how much we did this last year. And now I think Dick King is sitting there waiting to review endowment for us. Thank you, Dick.
You're done. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Excuse me. The endowment receives a quarterly distribution from ELCA, and the total of that distribution in 2020 was $16,322. So it's a very sustainable way in which we can support many of the needs that are already been discussed. So the endowment, we get a quarterly distribution, and the total distribution for 2020 was $16,322, and that's how much we spent. We received deposits of about $16,598. So we still have an ending balance at the end of the year of $5,111, and we've already got a couple of applications in January, February, or coming in February, but those of us on the endowment committee are very pleased to see how well ELCA manages the funding. It's very sustainable.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Just say it. You can say it.
Dick, this is Jack Stamm. I'm wondering, can you give the total in the endowment fund and how much interest we get each year?
Well, we get we had 16,598 was our distribution from the ELCA, and I don't have the actual total in front of me right now. I should have put that up, I guess, but it's close to 300,000.
Thank you.
Interest.
Hmm?
You want to know what the interest rate was?
Yeah, that's.
This is Gaynelle. Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you very much, Dick.
Oh, you're welcome.
We'll move on then to the Vision 2020 update, and I will give that report. Our Vision 2020 plan was formulated in 2015 to provide guidance for our development as a congregation. It highlights the actions and activities that have been achieved over the last 5 years in 6 major areas. You will note on page 23 of the annual report that all but one goal has been met successfully. We are still at work on our governance structure. We would have worked on our Vision 2525 this past year if COVID-19 hadn't changed our lives. The one-on-one conversations that form the basis for the goals for 2525 were conducted in late 2019, and 4 areas of concern have been discerned. These will be considered by the team that gathers this year to formulate the Vision 2525. Speak to Pastor Molly or Ike if you are interested in joining that team. Are there any questions about that? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead on to the report from the nominating committee by Ike.
So as the vice president, I'm in charge of organizing the nomination committee. This year, we filled up about the same number of positions as we have in the past few years. We did leave a few open as that's part of our governance structure. As we evaluated it, we felt that we didn't need the 14 people on council that it calls for. So that's part of it. We're leaving a few of those positions open so that people stay engaged and stay excited about it. The current nomination slate is myself for president for 2021, Georgia Cobbs for the vice president, Audrey Thornton for secretary, Tana Lambert for treasurer. Fellowship, we're going to leave open. Finance, we're going to leave open. Service is Tom Thompson. Witness is going to leave open. Worship and music, Marilyn Hall. Youth and family, we're also going to leave open. The other positions that are open for on the election ballot 2021, we have one position open in endowment committee, and that's Nancy Solom. The current members on that committee are listed there also: Dick King, Dale Malum, Susanna Murphy, and Curtis Thompson. For our FLBC representation, it'll be Andy Morris and Katani Morris. For the Immanuel Lutheran Home representatives, we have Ron and Nancy Leachate. For the Synod Assembly delegates, we'll have Tom Thompson and Lori Swanson. And then you can see the nomination committee there. There is 6 people, and they'll serve on the nomination committee in October or November, December, January next year. That's Jim Steenberg, Dick Solom, Kathy Marks, Summer Pellet, TJ Johnson, and Dick King. So all other council members that are currently in their term is Ray Smith and Tony Johnson and Albert Melby. And then I'll open the floor for other nominations. Note that the person has to be present at the meeting and then accept the nomination to be elected. All right. So we'll move to the election then. I'm looking for a motion to approve the election ballot by acclamation or by as shown.
Georgia Cobbs, so moved.
Can I get a second?
Ray Smith, second.
Okay. We'll launch the poll to go ahead and vote vote the election ballot as presented. If any phone callers want to unmute themselves, they're welcome to. Mom, can you vote can you do the poll? I've lost the ability. And phone callers, if you,
It should be up on your screen now.
okay. And phone callers, if you want *6 to unmute, you're welcome to *6 and unmute and vote.
Are people seeing? I'm not seeing anybody voting as,
I voted
was-
Nancy.
Yeah, I was able to vote too.
okay.
I voted Edith.
I voted Nancy. This is Nancy Solom.
Okay, my poll is not showing results.
I voted too.
Judy, I voted.
as well.
Ron Wessel, we voted.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
And
So
we have-
I'm not sure what's going on with no, I'm not seeing results. Are you
Okay.
seeing them?
So we'll just assume that, well, should we vote? Gaynelle, what do you want to do? Do you want to,
You can ask for dissensions.
And it should
This-
come up.
there you go.
Okay.
So if there's any dissensions, would they speak now? All right, then it passes.
Let's see. Yeah, it didn't show
Thank
up.
you. We'll give them a round.
The
of applause.
results just showed up on mine.
Yeah, it said 97%
Yeah.
approved.
I was able to post
I
it.
saw it too.
Pastor Molly was able to post it. So
Oh, okay. We'll move now to the preschool report. Julie Sager.
Okay, this is Julie Sager. I'm the director of Immanuel's Preschool. And we've had a bit of a challenging year, as everybody has with COVID. We've had a little bit of staff turnover starting in the fall of 2019. Our assistant teacher at the time, Melinda, she kind of suddenly quit, moved on to different life things. And so we actually ended up hiring 2 assistants at that time, Chris Fisher, who was the 3-day assistant, and then Grace Thomas, who was the 2-day assistant. They brought us into 2020, which of course we shut down in March of 2020 for COVID. We were able to offer our preschoolers as much of a preschool experience as we could during that time, with some Zoom classes and monthly learning packets to take them through the end of the year. And we're super thankful to the PPP grant that the church got, so that we were able to continue paying our staff through the end of the school year, even though we did not have classes through May. This fall of 2020, we did make the decision to cut back to morning classes only, to ensure that we could properly clean and sanitize in between classes. So we've had 2-day morning classes for our 3 and 4-year-olds and 3-day morning classes for our 4 or 5 pre-K kiddos. And as you can see from the pictures, the kids have been super duper troopers about trying to wear their masks. Of course, the teachers are masked full time, and we've instituted daily hand washing and temperature checks as they check in. And we've had amazing families that have been very helpful and understanding as we've navigated this unknown COVID stuff. And we've had only one positive COVID that has ended up shutting down the preschool for a week because we were all close contacts. And so we did stay out. It was 2 weeks ago. We ended up all staying out for a week, and nobody else got it besides the one child and his family, but they're all recovered now and doing great. So we've been very lucky and fortunate. And we have made the decision that at this time for next fall, we are going to keep with morning classes only, because things are still a bit unknown. And we are offering an extended day to our families, so they can come for their regular half-day preschool class, but then stay for an extra hour and a half for an extended lunchtime and kind of social time with their friends. And so we're kind of offering that in lieu of having the afternoon classes. And that's been very popular this year, especially with our pre-K kids. And so that's what we plan to do for the fall, unless for some reason things get way back to normal and we have a whole bunch of interest for an afternoon class. But as of right now, we're just going to stick with our morning classes because it's been a lot of extra work with the cleaning and we swap out toys so that our kids aren't sharing the same toys and that kind of stuff. So that's what we plan to do for the fall at this point. When we hired the two assistant teachers, our second one that worked in our 2-day class, she ended up not being able to come back this fall because she's got 6 kids of her own and they were all at home. And so she was not able. So I have been working as the assistant teacher in the 2-day class. So I have a few hats between the director and the lead teacher for our 3-day class and then the assistant teacher for the 2-day class. So that's worked out fine. And we're just gonna see what happens with that for next year. Sorry about my dog barking in the background. Financially, we're doing great. We've been able to cover hold on one second. Sorry. Financially, we're doing fine. We've been able to cover our expenses. Which are our staff salaries, our expenses, what we pay to the church for payroll taxes and utilities and that kind of thing. So we were able to offer one family a month-long scholarship this winter. They had some financial issues in December. We're going to have to pull their kids out, but we were able to cover them with the small scholarship fund that we had. And so they were able to stay in our school. And so yeah, we're continuing to do great. Like I said, we're thankful for that PPP grant and then the CARES Act that has helped us purchase a lot of extra cleaning supplies, the air purifier for the preschool and all the hand sanitizer and the temperature or the thermometer for taking temperatures. So that's been great. And we're super thankful for the help that we've gotten from that. So we're just plugging along and gonna continue as we are. So any questions?
Hearing no questions. Thank you very much, Julie, for your great report. Our next report will come from Pastor Molly, talking about our potential for having an intern with us next year. Molly.
Thanks, Gaynell. Yeah, this is really exciting. I don't know if Immanuel's talked about having a pastoral intern with us in the past years, but this year we have a great opportunity to partner with Emmaus Campus Ministry. Well, we will have a pastoral intern from Luther Seminary half-time, and they will have that person half-time. This past year, Atonement Lutheran has had a pastoral intern part-time with Emmaus part-time. So we're excited that we are getting a chance to do it. We already know who it will be. It will be Rebecca Conquering Thomas, who we've done a lot of things with our youth ministry over the past few years. She has been the youth director at St. Paul Lutheran Church, and Sonia mentioned partnering with her with Grow and the Kids Time videos. And we've done middle school retreats with her before COVID and all those things. So she's got a lot of great talents, and we're excited to do that. So the council has approved moving forward, and she is a long distance student with Luther Seminary in St. Paul, Minnesota. Though she's done a lot of youth ministry, I know that she really wants to focus on the other pastoral duties, just of visitation and preaching and worship planning and administration and stewardship. And so if you know her, you know that she's pretty talented already. ICAD up there, so it's a shared internship. So our commitment is $15,000. We do pay her and pay for some of the educational pieces. as you can see, we've come up with a plan to fund that. It's over a 2-year period, so it's really $7,500 a year for 2021 and then 2022. Endowment has already committed $2,500 for 2021 and 2022. We've had at least $2,500 in designated gifts of people who've just wanted Immanuel to host an intern, and I know that we have more committed than that. And then annual budget, $2,500 for this year, 2021, and then for 2022. So we've actually been able to make it quite a reasonable way for us to fund this opportunity. I'm really excited about it because we all know that the last year has been crazy. And as we move into the fall and Rebecca will be able to join us, it will really give us something exciting to do together, which will be welcoming an intern, teaching her how to be a pastor, participating in the things that she wants to offer as she learns. So I think it'll be a great opportunity for us to really get united around a good thing as hopefully the vaccines get spread around more and we're able to come together with more and more people. So I'm really hopeful. I think it will be a great thing. I can't think of a better church to have an intern than Immanuel. Y'all do such a nice job with welcoming. You're very encouraging and supportive of your pastors. And I just think we have a lot to offer to a student. So thanks to everyone who's already given to that. And we will be approving this in the with the budget for some of these numbers. And we're doing it because we have a lot to offer to this intern, and she has things to offer us. And this is a way that we can contribute to the whole church by preparing someone for pastoral ministry. What her experience here is going to give to congregations beyond us. And that's exciting. I know pastors always remember their internship congregation, and it's always better when it's a good story. And I'm pretty sure that we can give that to Rebecca. So I'm excited. I hope you are too.
Are there any questions about Pastor Molly's report?
I would just add that in the chat, Tootie mentioned that we currently have $3,500 given and a new commitment for an additional $4,000 for 20. I would assume that's 2022. Is that right, Tootie?
21 or 20.
She said 2021.
Awesome. So she's basically paid for.
Yeah.
It's like, this is
Or
really
overpaid.
exciting. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Any other questions about the intern? Okay, we'll continue on to sabbatical. The sabbatical report is coming next. Or no, the spending plan. I'm sorry, I can't even read my own agenda. And that will be Tana. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. This is Tana Lambert. I am the treasurer and the finance chair for Immanuel. I'm going to review the 2020 actual annual ministry spending report from last year. And it can be found on page 22 of your annual report, or you can see it on the screen there. It's broken into 3 sections. The top third is our ministry income for 2020 and the various sources that we get our income from. 2020 was an interesting year. It caused a lot of anxiety for the council, the bookkeeper, for me, worrying about how we were going to survive because the pandemic hit during Lent and the Easter season, when we traditionally see a lot more visitors and a lot higher attendance, and it's where we receive a lot of our income in the spring, so to get us through the summer. So that was a lot of anxiety, wondering how we would survive this without having to cut staff or other parts of our budget. but we went through a slump, and then all of a sudden people adjusted, and come April, May, people started mailing in their contributions. They signed up for online giving and just stopped by the church, and it just was overwhelming how we rebounded, and Immanuel stepped up and continued to give and worship online. And so the top third of that sheet shows in 2020 with the pandemic, I guess the top few lines are just what we get normally in the offering plates and through use of our church. And when you compare it to 2019, when we didn't have a pandemic, we actually took in $3,800 more than 2019, which just is outstanding. So, but if you go look down to the last line item on the income portion, you'll see a $32,000 amount, and it says Paycheck Protection Program loan. You've heard Julie Sager mention the PPP, and I mentioned it in my annual report, but it was a government loan that we, through the CARES Act, it was COVID relief, and nonprofits were included in that CARES Act. So Tootie got the information collected, and we applied for it online, and what you received was 1.5 times your payroll amount for a period of time, and we were granted it, and in all we received an amount of $41,800, and that could be used to cover our payroll, so we wouldn't have to cut or furlough any staff. And it also could be used for utilities and interest on mortgage payments. And so we split it out. We gave preschool their portion, and we kept $32,000 for the general fund, and we used $6,400 of it for an interest payment towards our Build Up the Body loan. We signed up for this because we were very nervous. We didn't know how we were going to get through the year, and it really gave us a nice cushion, and it just helped to ease our anxiety. And now our bank account is a little, it's grown, and we're in a better situation. So when you include the PPP, we took in $282,400 for income. And then the middle section of that report is the expenses for 2020. And that came to $256,428. So, and to summarize that, compared to 2019, we did spend about $3,000 more, and that can kind of be contributed to, we did have a lot less expenses because there wasn't in-person worship. We cut our custodial down. We had a lot less expense because of not meeting in person, but we did pay an extra year of our elevator maintenance we had the PPP money, so we went ahead and paid next year's, and we paid our postage permit, and we also had a boiler issue that was pretty expensive, so our repair and maintenance was higher. So we ended the year at the very bottom of the report, it says income minus expense, and it's a positive number. It's $26,000, but that's because the PPP money of $32,000 is in there. If we hadn't had the PPP money, we would have had a deficit of $7,146. To compare last year, in 2019, we had $3,900 deficit. And our deficit this year would have been smaller if we hadn't prepaid some of those 2021 expenses at the end of the year. So all in all, it was a decent year considering what we went through. We had a little help from the government, and we ended our year with, I think I was looking up the bank balance. We have $48,440 in the checking account at the end of 2020. So we're sitting good, and we look forward to being back in person to worship again and seeing how that brings us back together and have a better year. But that's my review of the 2020 spending. So I'll move on. I don't know if anyone has any questions about 2020 before I move on. Okay. Now I'll review the 2020 proposed annual ministry spending plan. It was a guessing game for us to try to figure out what to budget for, whether we were going to be back in person worshiping, and just how long the COVID situation was going to affect us. So as far as the income, which is the top third of this box on the right, we just used what we took in for our actual for 2020, which was $246,772. We thought that was a realistic amount that we could achieve again. The middle section is our proposed ministry expenses. It's broken down into those three categories, a total of $265,617. It's just a little bit higher than, it's like $2,000 higher than 2020. And some of that has to do with, we did put $5,000 in our budget for the intern. If that wasn't in there, we would have a smaller budget than 2020. Some of the items that to highlight with the 2021 spending plan is we had pastor salary is we go with the synod guidelines for her her ordination year, and so her salary is increased a bit. And then the staff, we did a cost of living wage increase anywhere from 1.3 to 3%. Postage, we increased a little because we do have more mailings, not being able to be in person. Synod convention, we are saving $1,000 on that because they're going to meet virtual again this year, so we won't have the expense of sending any candidates. Custodial, that one's hard to decide. We currently pay them 3/4 of their usual amount since they don't have to clean the Hemgren room or the narthex or the sanctuary, but we will possibly have to move them back up to their full monthly amount if we do start a regular worship in person. And we have a lot less meetings in the church, so that keeps the cost of cleaning down. And who knows if we will be holding meetings again, or if we're just going to continue with the virtual. And then the intern was an additional $5,000. So on the right-hand side, the bottom number, if you take the amount of income we're projecting less the expenses, we do show a deficit of $18,845, and of that $5,000 is the intern, and it sounds like we have most of that covered. So it will be a smaller amount than that. And in 2020, we projected a $15,200 deficit, and we ended it with a $7,000 deficit.
Tana, we lost your mic somehow. I can see you still speaking, but I can't hear it. We still can't hear you. Oh. Not sure what's happening there.
Who are you asking for?
No, Tana, her mic, it looks like it cut out. I'm not sure. Did everyone else?
Oh, okay.
Everyone else? Okay.
I'm okay. I can hear. This is Marilyn.
Okay.
I
Well,
can't hear her on Zoom.
Judy, I can't hear her on Zoom.
Okay, that's all right.
I can't hear her.
Hear me now? Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, my Bluetooth headset decided to die on me right during my presentation. Good timing.
In 2020, we had a deficit. We would have had a deficit of 7,000.
Okay. So Larry's telling me where I cut out. Yeah, in 2020, we projected that we would have a deficit of 15,200, but we actually ended the year with 7,100 as a deficit. And then, so I realized that it's not great to have a budget where you project you're going to have a $18,000 deficit, but I don't project that we will actually have that kind of a deficit. So, and with the PPP money in our checking account, we have 48,000 currently. So we have the means to use savings if we do go in the red. So this is the proposed 2020 spending plan. And if you have any questions, I can take them now. 2021 spending plan.
I'm not hearing, this is Gaynell, or I'm not hearing any questions. Still weigh in if you'd like. But is there then a motion to approve the 2021 ministry spending plan?
This is Nancy Melby. I motion that we approve the 2021 spending plan.
All right, Nancy Melby has made the motion. Is there a second?
Janice.
Was that Ray Smith that did the second?
Janice Haig and Ray Smith both seconded.
Oh, okay. I don't know who was first. How about if we let Janice hold it? We'll give it to Janice since you seconded something else. How about that? All right, so it's been, the motion has been made and seconded that we approve the 2021 ministry spending plan. And please vote now.
While you're voting, I also wanted to thank Tootie Smith for all her hard work this year with the PPP grant and the other grant she got us for streaming and PPE and stuff like that. So thank you, Tootie.
If any phone callers would like to vote, feel free to *6 to unmute yourself and then vote.
I too would like to thank both Tana and Judy and the rest of the finance committee for the hard work that they had to do to keep us going this year. And we need to thank the congregation for providing the money that has supported us all year. So thanks go out to everybody.
Mike and Nancy, I don't know if everybody got to vote. I think I accidentally pressed a button that stopped the polling too early. I was doing something else. So I do see results. I have 33 people voted. He abstained and nobody did no. So then there were people that said yes on the thing. So that's what I have. So if you need me to relaunch it, let me know. I think I might have accidentally shut it down early.
33 was about what I had voting earlier too. I had maybe
Okay.
35.
Perfect, perfect. And some people in the chat were voting early and often. We shouldn't make those jokes these days, but.
Right. So we're finalized with the vote then? Okay, I will declare that the motion passed and we have a budget for 2021. Thank you, everybody. Okay, now it's time for me to talk about sabbaticals. The idea of a sabbatical has biblical origins. Throughout the Old Testament, God instructs people to work 6 days and rest on the seventh day, the Sabbath day. For a pastor, a sabbatical can provide not only rest from daily labor, but also opportunities for growth in learning and renewal. Congregations are encouraged by the ELCA and synods to provide their pastor pay and benefits for a sabbatical every 7 to 8 years. The synod can help the congregation with pulpit supply and pastoral care. There are grants available to help with expenses incurred by the congregation and pastor. This spring, a team of members will develop a policy for sabbaticals for Immanuel to use for our present and future pastors. The actual terms of a sabbatical are negotiated between the pastor and the congregation. Please contact me if you would like to join this team. Are there any questions about that? Okay, any other business to bring before the congregation this year? Okay, I have a little bit of levity here at the end of the meeting. I'd also like to add my thanks to Nancy, Tim, and Andy for providing the technical help today. And to thank Nancy for the video and the sign up genius and reminders that she sent to all of us and the work to get us all online and going. Thank you, Ike, for the PowerPoint slides that really made things go very smoothly and very informative for those of you at home. And I thank you, all of you, for attending a new way of doing an annual meeting. You got to stay home. You didn't have to go anywhere. And if you stay on after the prayer, Ike will remove the PowerPoint and you can see everybody that's here. So my closing prayer will be the Holden prayer for new directions. Oh God, you have called your servants to ventures of which we cannot see the ending, by paths yet untrodden, through perils unknown. Give us faith to go out with good courage, not knowing where we go, but only that your hand is leading us and your love supporting us. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. And thereby we are adjourned.
Thanks, everyone. God bless you. Come to church next week, 10 a.m. Yay.
Yay.
Get your
Thank you,
vaccine.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.